folks, Ben from Snows today showing you the perfect summer camping accessory. This is the Cybertake S1 portable air conditioner. If you find yourself camping in warm weather, this is a perfect addition to your setup. This has got 1 kilowatt of cooling power, 3,300 BTU that equates to of cooling power, blows hot, cool air out the side here. You can use it inside or outside your tent. You get vents and things to set it up in various ways, which we're going to show you how to set that up and how to use it today. Now, before I go any further, you can get some accessories. This does come with a 48 volt adapter here that plugs into a 240 volt power source. So I've got that plugged into a 12 volt power pack here. It's got an inverter in it, so I'm going to run it off this today. But if you do want to run it straight off your 12 volt system, you can buy this as an accessory. This is a 48 volt adapter that you plug into your 12 volt power source, and then this end here plugs into the unit in the same manner that I have done here with a 240 volt source. So you've just got that plug on the end there. You can also get a remote, so you can operate it remotely. That is an accessory as well. So you attach that to the unit remotely. You can operate it from inside your tent. So if you do have it sitting outside your tent, your rooftop tent, your caravan, you can operate it from the inside. And this awesome carry bag, which is really well thought out, certainly not an afterthought. This has got attachments on the outside, so you can put this little bag here on the outside, around the sides if you like, storage pockets on the side. It's got a zip on the bottom, so you could unzip it and just lift it straight off. Zip on the top, it's padded. Really well considered storage case. But different videos on those three accessories. Just want you to know that you can get those. Today what we're talking about is the unit itself. Now, as I said, it comes with this adapter here. If you want to run it off at 240 volt, you've got to use this, plug it straight into the wall or into the inverter like we've got here. I've got that plugged in to this end of the unit and powered up, ready to go. When you plug it in, it will beep once, but the unit's not on yet. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. What comes with the unit? Now, you can use it just like this. If I turn this on now, it's going to start sucking the air in the bottom vent here, blowing it out here. That air goes through the compressor inside here, heat's removed, and the heat's then blown out through another system at the back here, and cool air comes out of this vent at the top here. This has got a bit of a directional feature to it, so you can direct the air, but you can use it like this if you like. If you just want to have it sitting inside a room, not sucking air from inside or trying to blow it outside, you just want to cool the air within the room, you can just use it like this. If you do want to use these hoses, you get these two hoses with it, which means you can put it outside and blow air into your tent. You've got to put these little shrouds on. So this guy here connects over the top. You just hook it on the bottom there. So make sure these bits hook in underneath, and then it just clicks on like that. And then on the back here, these points lock in down here, and it clicks on. Now, before I put that on, I just want to show you a little drainage section here. On the bottom, this little plug here is a drainage port. Now, you don't have to attach this drainage hose. This comes with it. You can attach this drainage hose and drain it externally to your tent if you like. So with any air conditioner, you get condensation and the water's got to go somewhere. So we can put this outside the tent or inside a bucket inside the tent if I like. Alternatively, if the humidity is not too high, you don't have to use that. It's got its own internal system. You can leave this plug on, which is going to keep the water inside a little tray inside here, and it's got its own system to manage that condensation without the need to drain it. If it gets to a point where it needs to drain it, you'll get little warning signals on the screen up here that says you need to attach the hose because the little tray inside is full. So you can just keep an eye on that. A little bit more information on the instruction manual on how to do that. But back to this, I'll attach this now. So the two notches attach the bottom there, and it just clicks into place like that. This is the release on top here. Now, I'll show you how to use it. There's a control panel here. Before I do that, just to set some expectations on how much this might cool. So 3,300 BTU, or it's just under 1 kilowatt of cooling power. So that's equates to roughly 1 to 2 swags or a 4-person tent in space, about 9 to 11 square meters, and it operates from -5 up to about 40 degrees. Now, when it hits 40 degrees, you might go, oh, that's no good, it doesn't operate over 40 degrees. It still operates, but we're asking a 1 kilowatt unit to sit in the sun and be really hot and cool down a really hot environment. It's still going to cool it down, it's still going to operate, but it probably doesn't have the power to do that. I guess that's the trade-off with having something that operates on a portable power system, is that you can't cool something down when it is really hot. But if it's at night, when this isn't sitting in the sun, that's not really hot, it's going to be more effective. So we've got to be realistic about the expectations, but it will cool down a 4-person tent in quite warm conditions. Now, how to operate it, I'm actually just going to remove this end bit to show you this, because there's also a little light on the end here. Now, I've got 5 5 press buttons along here, and these are touch buttons on the side here. So to turn it on, we press the middle button here. It goes to ambient temperature first, and then it goes to set temperature, and you'll notice a little blue light on the end here to show that it's on. It's in cooling function. They have an S2 mode, which actually has a heating function as well. An S2 model costs a bit more, but that will go red. This is just the cooling model though, so it just goes blue. Now I'll start on this side here with the M, that's the mode button. At the moment that's in auto, so it's just set the auto to go to 20 degrees. If we flick it to max, that then goes to the max cooling setting, goes right down to 16 degrees, operates at full temperature. And if we have a look at the power draw on the power pack here, you see that it's creeping up to, it's now at 60 watt, 63 watt. We'll let that run for a little bit and see how high it goes, but it will operate in a range of 100 up to 480 watts, depending on how you've got it set. 480 watts sort of on the startup. On the lower setting, it might be below 100 watt, but depending on the setting that you've got, it will operate at different power outages. So that's gone up to 120, 123 watt. That's on the max setting there. Now, if I drop that back to the auto setting, we'll talk about run time, because we've got an eco setting over the side here. So if you want the maximum run time, which is 10 hours, if we press this eco button here, you can see this goes to eco plus sleep. So this will get up to about 10 hours of run time in this setting here. If you leave it overnight, you've also got a timer, which we'll go into shortly. That'll give you 10 hours. If you've got it on the max setting, you've probably only got about 1.5 to 2 hours of run time. So that's kind of the range in which you could run this for. If we press that again, it just goes to eco mode. So not quite as efficient as the eco plus mode. So you've got various settings there to try and get the most out of your battery life and how long you want it running for. We'll leave that on, let's just say leave it on eco and see how cool it gets. If we move over to the other side again here, this is the timer function. So we can set this anywhere from 1 through to 12 hours timer. So it goes up in half-hour increments, 12 and back to 0. So I'll leave it on 0 at the moment. And then this button here adjusts the setting that it's on. So at the moment we've got a little ice, what do you call it, a snowflake there, sorry. Just say it's on cool. If we press it again, it goes to dehumidify mode. So if we just want to remove the moisture out of the air, we can put it on dehumidify mode, and we can also just put it on an air mode. So that's just blowing air. It's not got no cool function going on at the moment. I'm going to leave it on cool though at the moment, and I want to drop the temperature down and let it run for a little bit to show you sort of how accurate this is. And you've got these touch buttons on the side here. This is the fan setting. So we can go right down to the lowest setting there, a little bar setting there. So if we press that, it goes up to full fan. Keep pressing that. That's the maximum fan setting there. The same one this time here, up and down with temperature. Now this will go from 16 degrees up to about 28 degrees, I believe. Let's see how far that goes. Yep, 28 is the warmest it will go to, but we'll set it right down cool because I'm gonna measure the output setting first. This is really ramped up now. Now this is operating at its full capacity at the moment. There's cool air coming out this end, warm air coming out this end. I can hear it running, mainly the air coming out the end here. I wouldn't say it's quiet, but it's certainly not noisy. About 55 decibel is what they rate it at, in line with any other air conditioner that you'd find, but it's certainly not an offensive sound. It's just a bit of a hum. Now I'm going to leave this running to cool down while I go through how to set this up, or the ways you can set this up. We'll just move a few bits out of the way here. Now, before I do this, it's important to understand how the airflow works. So I'll just put this cover back on for now. Now what's happening here is the unit is sucking air in through the vent at the bottom here. It's coming up through a condenser. There's a compressor and a condenser in the middle here. Heat is being removed from that air, and then the cool air is being blown back into the tent. So it's the same airflow through here. At the back end of the tent here, of the cooler here, that heat that's been removed needs to escape. So it's sucking air in from the outside here through that hot air and blowing it out the top here in the form of warm air. So right now I can feel warm air coming out here and cold air at this end here. So at no point is the air coming in this side attached to the air going out this side. The airflow is like this, through the condenser and the compressor in the middle here. And this is where the heat exchange occurs. Now, if we're just using this as a cooler, we can take these. These are about 1.5 to 2 meters in length. I could just leave it like this and use it like this if you like. If I want to vent this inside a tent, like what I've got behind me here, we can screw this in. Just screws like a thread. These are standard 10 mil, 100 mil, sorry, 10 centimeter extendable hoses. quite got that in. I just need to extend that out a little bit. I'll screw that in, just make sure it's seated in there fairly securely. We can then extend this out, and I've got a rooftop tent behind me here. I can then put this in this instance, the tent's got a vent here, so I can put that in through there. The cold air is now blowing straight inside the tent there. So sucking this air in, cooling it, blowing cool air inside my tent. A lot of regular tents have got this now. If I didn't have this, I could just tuck it inside the zip on the door or something like that. So that's what I can do in that instance. Now, if I want to use it as a dehumidifier, I need to put this on the other end. And what happens then is this needs to go inside the tent. I'd put it on the dehumidifier setting. I'll just collapse these back up. I would attach this on the top here. So the whole unit needs to sit inside if you're dehumidifying the air. And then I'll attach this on the bottom section here. Once again, just make sure that screws in properly. There we go. So this is now sucking air in. Both of these will go to the outside. So this is sucking air in outside, coming in here, taking the heat and blowing this out. And this works by dehumidifying by basically a very low power consumption air conditioner type mode. It's not working to cool it down, it's working to suck this air in, remove the moisture, dry the air out, and then blow it out the top. So it's drying the air out, but both of these need to go outside. This needs to sit inside the tent when it's used in the dehumidifier mode. Most of the time though, you're going to use it as an air conditioner. So I'm going to measure the temperature of the output on this side here, because we've had this running for 5 to 10 minutes now. It says 16 degrees on here. I'll just let that sit for a minute to let it cool down. And I'm going to show you the power consumption while I let that cool down a little bit. Let's have a look here to see where this is at. It's 193 watts. That's still on the auto setting, so it's running pretty much at high power, set to 16 degrees. We'll see what the temperature is in here. Now I've got just a digital laser beam here. If I point that right down inside, it's at 19, 18 degrees. Now this was sitting on the hot end of the, there we go, 40. If I point it right down inside, it's reading 14, 15 degrees. So it's going to have different readings depending on what surface it's touching. This pipe's warmed up a little bit because it was sitting on the exhaust side of the unit at the moment, but that's certainly cooled down to 15 degrees. So that's going to keep operating until the ambient temperature comes down to 16 degrees. That'll just keep running at full power until it gets there. I'm going to put it on Eco Plus mode. We'll let that run for a minute and see where the power consumption goes to. Okay, it's been about a minute and I want to have a look at power draw with the different fan settings. So this is on Eco Plus Sleep. I'm going to turn the fan right down and you can hear it just quiet down a little bit, and the power draw is going down to just above 100 watts there. And we'll show you the fan speed and then I'll ramp it up. So this is the low setting. There's still a good flow of air coming out of there. That's ramped right down now and it's actually just over 100 watts still. If I turn this up to full fan speed, 6 settings there, give it a second or so to ramp up. Still kicking up. Temperature, the power draw, I'm just watching it now, still at 100. It takes a few seconds for the fan speed to kick in. That's now ramping up at the moment. I can feel that getting faster and faster. And we can see the wattage is going up a little bit. It's up to around about 110 now, and yeah, really good airflow coming out of there now. So you can see the difference there with the airflow. That's quite strong. That would probably almost be too much to be sitting inside a tent, feeling that blowing in as you were sitting right next to it. And another temperature check. We've got 14 degrees on the plastic at the outlet there. So set to 16, it's 14 degrees here. So yeah, cools really well. Now what I want to do is put this on maximum at the moment. I'm going to let that run for a minute or two and see where the power maxes out at on our unit here. All right, we have let that run probably for about 30 seconds to a minute. This has gone up to 360 watts, seems to be steadying out there at the moment. So this is on full bore, set at the coolest it will go to. Cybertake claim it'll operate up to 480 watt, maybe some little spikes on startup or when it changes over, but that seems to be relatively steady at 370, 360 watt at the moment. Air's blasting out the end here, 16 degrees. I'm able to talk over the top of this relatively comfortably and I'm standing right next to it. A little bit of noise, but I'd say it's not an offensive noise by any means at all. and that certainly steadied out at about 370 watts. So that gives you a good idea on the power consumption of the Cybertake S1 Pro portable air conditioner. I reckon this is an awesome unit. If you really like summer camping but really don't like the heat, grab one of these. It's going to make camping so much more comfortable, just to take the edge off that really hot environment. Don't expect it to cool down your big caravan if you've got it parked in the sun, all sealed up, no ventilation, no wind blocking it. It's gonna cool it down if you use some common sense and try and get a bit of airflow, take that edge off how hot it feels. It's as good as it gets and as compact and robust as it gets in terms of an efficient air conditioner for your camping expeditions. Check these out online and in store at Snowy's.